Greetings, every people. It's your cult personality here. Toon Critic's name. Toon's the name of my game. This episode was boring as hell. That's all we need to say of this episode. Join us next week when we get our next guest on the next episode. Goodbye. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This episode wasn't that bad.
The remainder of this episode.
Appearance on Roundtable, everybody.
The remainder of this episode will now be occupied by Keyframe singing your favorite hits.
From Hamilton.
Not unusual to be in love by anyone.
We lost
Damn it, I wanted my favorite one from Yelvis.
Oh,
you don't know that, dog!
Okay, alright, in all seriousness, yes, welcome to Roundtable's Magic, the show where we look at the show, Season 6, and everything else beyond that. I am, of course, ToonKritic. Join with me today are the lovely Golden Fox and Keyframe.
How are you all doing?
And you know that if it's the lovely Golden Fox and Keyframe, ANY is going to pop in somehow with his trollerific trolling.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Lightning Bliss?
She lost internet.
Did she
No!
Did she really?
Are you not reading the chat?
You
Yes!
lost internet.
We'll be joined by Lightning Bliss.
This cardboard cutout of Lightning Bliss, don't mind the stand there in the lower right corner. British Ninja.
Hello, my name is Voice of Reason. I'm definitely Voice of Reason.
What was that? What was that?
Is...
Ninja, we didn't quite hear you. What was that?
Yeah, sorry, my name is Voice of Reason. I'm definitely Voice of Reason. I hate friendship is witchcraft. Something, newbie dash, something.
Are you trying to trigger me, dude?
No. Voice of Reason is not here for this podcast. Apparently he has some family issues or something like that. So we will have there. Okay, hi Bliss. Here you are. You're back.
I am back! My internet sucks! I'm sorry, this might happen frequently throughout this stream. Ba-da-da-da-da-da!
Hey!
And joining us, replacing Voice of Reason, is the guest that won the poll. Originally it was going to be Master Code, but since he was unable to be here this month, we settled for second place. So welcome aboard, Robin0928.
Robin0928. Hey, 26 episodes in, and I'm finally on Roundtable, and not even because I won a poll.
How's it
His name
going,
is
Live
Robin0928. There are a million things he hasn't done.
Okay,
Just you wait.
frame of reference. You've been doing this all day.
Hashtag Viva La Green!
Oh god, it's already started. And this is not Roundtable.
Oh, Will, don't even...
I'm just gonna ignore. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ignore Will in the chat because he's being a butt.
Episode.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, but I don't tend to listen to Starlight haters, so...
Oh jeez.
Oh.
Anyway. So we're here to talk about today's episode, not the finale, because I'm aware that the finale just recently aired a few days ago. We're not going to talk about it. In fact, we're not going to be talking about it this month. We're waiting till next month to talk about it after Nightmare Nights. So, what we're talking about today is Where the Apple Lies, the Apple Family episode we thought would talk about Applejack's parents, but it didn't, and instead we got this. So, who wants
Boring.
Okay, I just now know what's your negative. Thanks.
No, my negative is a little different. But who would like to start this off?
I do. Me.
Alright. I will have the first person starting this off be British Ninja.
God damn, I knew you were gonna do that.
I just knew I was going.
Alright. So, are we gonna do likes or dislikes?
Likes.
Likes. Okay.
Actually, wait, no, let's get the negatives out of the way and get to the positives. Let's start off with one thing we didn't like.
Damn, I didn't type up that bit. Okay, so I guess what I disliked about this episode is that it was kind of at the ending bit where it's how Big Mac takes this moral, like that he used to be the super talkative guy, and then once he learned that, like, just to be quiet a little bit, he then became like this super silent dude who only says yes and nope. Like, I thought that was a bit... It's cool that he used to have, like, this character stage, and that he just kind of grew out of talking so quick, and he became, like, a more reserved person, I guess. But I don't know, I felt like that was a bit... something like that shouldn't change his entire character. Like that, I guess. Like, it didn't seem a reasonable explanation to why he goes yes or nope. I don't know. I guess that's the only. I think that this podcast is going to be really debatable because I have a feeling that half of us like it and half of us hate it.
And then
So-
there's some of us that are just literally in the middle. I can't decide if I really
So-
like it or I really don't.
Okay. I'ma pass it off to Golden.
This is kind of a pet peeve that happens throughout the series, and unfortunately, it's more of the reason why people are so negative on Applejack. She hardly ever gets any good episodes because they're either too boring or they're too stupid. I want AJ to have a better episode out there. I know it's out there somewhere. You can find it. But the writers really need to put forth more effort on AJ's character and not just, either hit her with the stupid stick or leave her in the background for some other character. As much as I love Main Attraction, she was left in the background for Rah-Rah. But no, in this episode, she was whacked with the stupid stick.
Well, here's the thing, though, Fox. The only thing I'm going to argue with that is that we can't really say that the characters are being, like, stupid because this is the flashback. And
Yeah,
now
this
that
is
we
when
see
they're
their...
kids.
Yeah, this is when they were
Yeah.
kids. So, understandable that they learn from these mistakes and move on from that. So, we can't be
Even
too
then-
hard on it.
Even
I'm
then,
gonna
this
debate you on
episode
this
was
one.
bland. It still doesn't make the episode any better.
That's
But I'll
true.
debate you on the Applejack when we get to positives.
There
So
we
is it.
go.
Wow, that cool brony just pulled out the Applejack is worst pony line.
Okay,
No.
hang on. We here at Roundtable is Magic. We do not think Applejack is the worst pony, nor is she a background pony. She is equal. It's just she's not really given a lot to work with.
Yes.
Yeah.
That role goes
agree
to
with that.
Twilight.
Oh, dang,
Oh.
Chris.
Don't be
Jesus.
dissing Best Pony. I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I think Twilight's my favorite too, so yeah, I'm with Lightning Bolts on that one.
Oh no, I don't hate Twilight. I hate Alicorn Twilight.
Yeah, but we need to get back to the episode.
Let's get-
It's
let's-
negative.
let's reel it back in.
Fox.
Fox, was there anything else?
Honesty does not mean stupidity. It takes a lot of balls to be honest.
Dave, who are you passing it off to?
I'll pass it out to you.
That was the most predictable one.
Okay. I'm taking the complaint that everyone has.
Oh.
Where are the parents?
That's never gonna happen.
No,
You
here's
took
that
my
deal.
complaint.
This might happen, but
No, look. Just saying. In this timeline, because we don't see Apple Bloom in this flashback, we see that around this time, Filthy Rich and Spoiled Milk were about to get married, so that's why Diamond Tiara's not there. I don't need to know how their parents died, but their parents being there seems like an integral part of the story. Because
Oh, yeah.
they were talking about who gets control of the farm next, as if the parents aren't the next of kin.
I mean, even just a slight mention of the parents.
Like they're
Would've-
out doing something or anything. It doesn't make sense that they're having this argument about who's going to run the farm when Apple Bloom doesn't even exist yet. Because if they were at this time before Apple Bloom was born, and they were talking about, oh, who's going to run the farm next? The obvious answer would be their parents.
Like, I think I actually during the episode kind of came up with a reason why they wouldn't be there, but the fact remains they should have been there in the first place, or not been there, or mentioned.
I just felt that having one mention of like, oh, the parents are out delivering pies or something would have made more sense, because if you're doing all this, it makes it seem like Apple Bloom was freaking adopted.
Jesus, child!
that'd be pretty funny.
That would
That would
be.
actually be hilarious if she was an Anakin Skywalker.
Applejack. Oh, no, because the other way of interpreting that the parents weren't around is that Apple Bloom is born, but she's like a super baby. Like, she is incredibly tiny, and they just didn't show her.
Spoiled
Maybe, but-
Milk. What kind of a name is Spoiled Milk? Are you serious?
Maybe the only reason she married Spoiled Rich is just to get rid of that last name.
She's
I don't know, but she had a schnoz like mine. I don't know why she got rid of it. Anyway, that was my complaint. And mine, I guess, is just lost potential, but still it's just, sigh. But I'm gonna pass it off to the number one guy that you got in your eye, Robin.
Hey, thanks, Key. I guess that my complaint for this one, because I'm not going to take anybody else's, I'm going to say the problem that I had was that the story, the main bulk of the episode, felt just completely disconnected from the beginning and ending. Because they use the flashback as a way to kind of set up the episode, yet the main episode itself doesn't feel like it really fits with what they're setting up. Like, it's hard to explain because, like, the mistake that Applejack made, yeah, it's a big mistake, but it really isn't as big as the story that they tell kind of would make you believe it is. I don't know, it's just...
Well, the thing with that is that they nipped Applebloom's problem right at the bud. Like, she didn't have the time to keep building on her lies and let it spiral out of control like the story did.
Yeah, so that was kind of one of those things of, okay, just, hey, don't lie would be an acceptable one. Like, not this whole epic, if you lie once, this is immediately going to happen to you. It just felt really weird.
I guess it wasn't immediately happening to her. Or, like, if Applejack told the truth when she did lie and, like, didn't double down on her lies, then it wouldn't have spiraled out of control. And I guess with something as close as honesty to Applejack, like, that is a very important thing to her, of course. So I have a feeling that she... If anything, yeah, they didn't even bring up the story at first. Like, Applejack didn't bring up the story. That was Granny.
I know, but it just felt like the episode was just completely disconnected. And I guess that I'll throw mine to Bliss Bliss.
It's dead, Jim.
Bliss.
Then I'll throw it to the Toon.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I muted myself because some certain wolf poked me for a moment, and I'm like, oh, maybe he'll go to Toon. Maybe he'll go to Toon. Darn it, he didn't go to Toon.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to go to Toon?
Too late. I'm already answering.
All right.
Well, it's really... See, I'm one of those who actually thoroughly enjoyed the episode, though I do get that, like, from what everybody else said, this was a missed opportunity. And I'm like, darn it, you're right. This was a missed opportunity. Darn it. But at the same time, if I have any nitpick about this, and yeah, literally I feel like it's a nitpick, because I don't have a whole lot of problems that everybody just said. Like, with the whole... Like, oh, she spiraled and stuff out of control. Applejack was hit with a stupid stick. Well, in the flashback, she's a kid. Kids make mistakes. And yeah, it really did spiral out of control.
Okay, I get it.
If anything, I think I would have called out Big Mac for not being a more responsible older brother. Like, yeah, he was telling her, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But she kept over-talking him. And I want to smack Big Mac more than anything, because I felt like, dude, you're the elder sibling. You need to take charge because your younger sister is clearly in over her head. You know that she is. Go tell Granny Smith, or go and talk to Filthy Rich while she's not with you. Why haven't you done that? If you want to prove that you are responsible enough to take over the farm, here is your opportunity to resolve the mistake that your younger sister made. But he didn't. He followed AJ around because she overtalked him, and that kind of made my eye twitch a bit, because it's like, dude, you weren't scared of talking before, and now you are all of a sudden, even though you're talking constantly. So, yeah, my nitpick is with Big Mac, and that he is the older sibling. He should have taken charge of the situation, but he didn't. But and at the end of the day, guys, if he did, we wouldn't have an episode.
I mean, like, I even though they don't actually state it, I just kind of thought that he wanted Applejack to learn the hard way why you shouldn't do this. Like, yeah. I know that's not stated, so I've got nothing to base that off of, but that's just what I thought it went down. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna let you fall into this bear trap, you're not solving it yourself.
Well, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe it is, but I guess from my own experience, because I'm the third child of 6 siblings, and if I were screwing up, my eldest sisters would always call me out on it, no matter what. I don't know if they took pride in it, or they did it because it was the right thing to do, but yeah, they would never let me dig a hole for myself and make things worse than they already are. So that's why I guess my eyes twitching a bit. So.
Okay.
So the last one would be Toon, sir.
Alright. I am very confused about where this episode exactly takes place within the timeline of all the events that we've seen, because Grey Cat just sent me a thing he wanted me to look at called the Apple Bloom Paradox. I could probably actually show it right here when I...
Wait, what's going on?
He wanted me to show a picture that he did. It's sort of a timeline-esque picture right here. Okay.
Oh god. No, the timeline.
We are going to get some interesting events here. Okay, so you have the Sonic Rainbow event over here. This is where we see the youngest forms of Applejack, Rarity, and we also see how exactly young Granny Smith is here. So here we are at the episode. Oh, that cool brony donated 5. Thank you, sir. So during a flashback, we have Teen AJ and Big Mac. Okay, and we have an unmarried, the Riches. Okay, we don't know if the Diamond Tiara has been conceived. Apparently, Granny has started aging backwards. So now we move to Sweetie Belle's 5th birthday. We know that Sweetie Belle is around 5 years confirmed. Rarity looks more adult here. And then we have the present day, where apparently Diamond Tiara and the CMC appear and that they're the same age. Don't know how the heck that's possible. And Spoiled changed, and apparently Silverquill has a theory here that Granny is a Highlander.
I say the Granny thing about Granny aging backwards in this episode. I think it was just a mistake that they made, or they didn't have the proper poses for the last time they flashed back.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't like the fact that we've come this far, and not only do they get the timeline wrong, and we're not even introduced to like the possibility of even seeing the parents in any sort of regard, because the synopsis for this episode sort of leaned towards we might see the parents. And because this is a flashback, we might get a glimpse. But no, not only do we get that, they screw up the timeline even more. So this just makes me wonder, are we ever going to see Applejack's parents other than a slight mention? Are we going to get any inclination?
Can I mention something here?
Yes.
I've had this argument when I reviewed the episode Apple Family Reunion. Because of the AJ's parents being dead or whatnot, it is considered quote-unquote inappropriate or too dark for kids. So they'll never, ever mention anything about AJ's parents other than that brief mention in Crusaders of the Lost Mark.
Man, I have like a stack of VHS tapes that can prove that kids look at parental deaths over and over and over.
Exactly.
It's called the entire Disney catalog.
The other thing is that when Lauren Faust was asked about the creation, she didn't really think about AJ's parents and just assumed that they're dead.
Now, I'm aware
She preferred not to talk about it.
I'm aware also that there is an article on Equestria Daily that has a talk with one of the character designers who does state that Applejack's parents are indeed dead. Okay.
Okay.
So, can we get a little bit of clarification on how exactly that happened? Or is that just going to be one of life's great mysteries at this point? Because...
Or how about a timeline? How about a date?
Gray just provided the timeline, and they retconned that, so the timeline kind of doesn't make any sense anymore. That's why, that's my complaint with this.
This is what happens. This is what happens when Hasbro puts so many restrictions.
But you know what the thing about the timeline, though? The timeline, I have given up completely on trying to figure out because of one simple fact. Time travel is now introduced in MLP, and that just opens up a whole wormhole of stupid just timeline paradoxes and
like
things
Flashpoint.
that we want to drink. Yeah, we are living in... What if MLP has a Flashpoint paradox?
No, the Flashpoint, if anything, if any kind of Flashpoint we're talking about, it's with the cutie remarks. So who knows what kind of timeline changes happen? We don't know. I'm just going to move to the thing that I liked about this episode then. Because we're going to be here forever if we talk about wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. Okay. So the thing I liked about this episode, the only thing I liked about this episode, because I overall thought this is a pretty boring episode, Big Mac is the best character here. And I have no idea why they just decided to have him barely talk at all. I understand...
That was his original design.
I know, I understand that, like, initially he was like, maybe I should listen more and talk less. Okay, there's talking less, and then maybe saying a word. Dude, there's a way around that. But anyway, Big Mac was the best character here because he was the one trying to figure things out. He was the one trying to take charge. He had some sass to him. I loved that. I love seeing the younger style to him. He was like, yeah, what is going on here? I was seriously waiting for him to just snap and be like, what are you doing? He was the sensible one. He was the smart one, yet he almost died in that surgery scene.
That was actually funny.
That was
You know, I
hilarious.
really love the bit, like, when they're just being petty and squabbly. It's like, why can't you be Granny? I chuckled like a little...
Whoa! The true Annie, is that NY?
I think
yeah, it
showed
is.
up.
Yeah,
Hi,
that's
Annie.
it. Why.
Oh no! Dun dun dun!
I'm half expecting
yeah.
Keyframe to get a
Yeah.
message from ANY. But yeah, that's what I liked.
Making Hamilton jokes.
Also,
Yeah.
before I pass it back, I also forgot the thingy down at the bottom in the lower left corner. For those that are watching the podcast, I'm trying to get a new laptop to handle better stuff that's going on. It's starting to crap out on me a little bit, so if you would like to donate at all, that is entirely up to you. I forgot to mention the goals. So 450, we're getting a tuned in on Ruby. 500, I play Stanley Parable. 550, DuckTales Remastered. 600, Mario Party Rematch. 700, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location.
Woohoo!
So that's what you're doing during this little podcast that's going on. Anyway, I'm gonna pass it back to Lightning Bliss.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what is one thing you liked?
One thing I liked. Okay, hold on. I loved all the stuff that was going on in the background.
Really?
I
There
just
were
watched Shirley.
so many things happening in the background during the flashback, like what happened to Derpy's eyes. Clearly, she had an accident, or a surgery, or something. Or what about that poor stallion that literally got his butt kicked?
Or what about the two ponies in the hospital that reminded us of a certain horror movie?
Oh my god, I hated that. Oh god.
There are so many references in the background.
Come play with us, Applejack.
Come
So
play with us.
Everything that was going on in the background. Normally, I don't like that because that means that means the main characters aren't my primary focus. No, that's not true. It's just that I've come to learn over this years with the series is that they have a lot of Easter eggs going on now, and you got to keep your eye out or you'll miss them. And
I gotta thank the episode for doing that, because now, rewatching the episode a couple times, I've got more material to work with for the inevitable My Little Robin episode, because this episode in its story didn't give me much, but there's a lot of stuff in the background I can make jokes about.
Exactly. I mean, remember how I my first review of not liking an episode that was on your marks. I didn't like the episode, but that doesn't mean I didn't like the stuff that was going on in the background.
Jeez.
But yeah, I loved what was going on with the background. To be honest, I really loved this entire episode, but I can only pick one, so I will drop it back to Robin.
Yeah, it's me. I guess I have to say the best thing about this episode for me, besides the greatest character in the entire episode, Big Mac, I really liked Applejack for a change. Like, I'm usually not one to enjoy Applejack. She's my least favorite pony, and that's not a background pony thing, it's just I've never liked Applejack. But this episode, I really liked her. And it shouldn't be weird because I should like every character, but it felt like she finally had a story where she had the chance to really show off why her character was important. It wasn't like, oh, well, I'm just gonna fix this thing because I'm Applejack and I do literally everything right. But I really like Applejack in this episode.
See,
It was-
I've always loved Applejack because of her morals, her family ties, her hard work ethic. That's what I like about Applejack. So, but yeah, just saying.
I like those characteristics, but her character has never appealed to me, especially the whole. I've never liked very, very stereotypically Southern characters, and Applejack is a really stereotypically Southern character.
You
and
don't
that
like Southern characters, huh?
I
Oh,
live
boy.
in Mississippi. I'm surrounded by Southern characters. That's my joke of the week, everybody.
We're gonna have a dead guest by the end of this. By the end of this podcast,
I'm not gonna fight Blissey because Blissey would win. But I really do. I've never liked Applejack, but this episode, it gave her a flaw that was not, oh, I'm stubborn because I'm Applejack. Whoops, I've had the same flaw since season 1. That's all my episodes.
Element of honesty. Yeehaw!
That's exactly what every time Applejack starts talking, I hear. Element of honesty. I'm good and southern.
I've never told a lie, ever!
Oh,
And
God.
this episode gave her a flaw that I really enjoyed. So yeah, I really like Applejack, and that means I got a pass.
Hold me back. I'm gonna kill him. Hold me back.
Let me at him. Let me at him.
Applejack. I've liked Applejack in a lot of her last few episodes. I haven't liked the episodes, but I've liked her character.
I don't think the moral of this should be to tell kids, if you keep lying and lying and lying, eventually you're gonna get caught. No, I've seen some kids manage to pull off lie after lie after lie and get away with so many different stuff, but you shouldn't teach kids to lie over and over and over again to save your butt. It's not gonna work. Unless you're really good at it, but I don't think kids are smart enough to figure that out.
I think the moral should be that, yeah, lying is wrong, and you really shouldn't do it, but it's more like, it doesn't matter how many times you lie, it's just a matter of time before it gets you in trouble. Like, in serious trouble.
Okay, everybody's really angry about that because, oh, are you offending me? I'm Southern too. I live in Mississippi. That's
hey, you live where Kichi is.
I really don't like Southern stereotypes because I've lived in the South for 10 years. So yes, it's a stereotype. Granted, there is some validity to the stereotype.
Yeah,
but
guys, don't take what we say so seriously. It's like with a grain of salt. I'm a Texan, and everyone knows that, and they like to jab at me. And I can take a jab at my own state. Okay,
I thought you were from Kentucky.
Shut up, Zach.
Zach, shut up. I'm gonna pass it off to my main mare, Keyframe. Yeah.
Next. Is it Ninja or is it?
No, it's Keyframe, then Fox, then Ninja.
Keyframe, Fox, and then Ninja.
Okay.
So yeah, thing I liked about this episode. There were ponies in it.
You didn't like this episode, did you?
I mean, the thing that I liked, you took from me. So
Yeah,
I really did like.
You can say, okay, here's the thing. Just because I took it doesn't mean you can't offer your opinion on it.
Okay, I think Big Mac is amazing. I love his hairdo because it looks like. I love the "I'm a teenager" mohawk thing, and I like the fact that Applejack was like a very skinny child.
Before she got buff, and yeah.
Before she got buffed. And also, Toon, you got a message from your favorite person again.
Oh, do I?
One, what's your favorite person, huh?
Well, that's what I...
Wait, hang on. Ninja laughed over it. What was that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to play it again. You were all talking over each other.
Well, Toon, that's what I call a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because now you've got a message from me.
Everybody in the chat, take a shot.
ANY is the new frickin' meme. Okay, I think the meme is now a message from ANY. Hashtag a message from ANY.
No longer pass it off from British Ninja.
It's now
Does that mean
message
that
from ANY.
One day invade the chat.
No, I mean,
that was the thing I liked. I did like even though they retconned Granny Smith, I like that more than her being just as wrinkly as she's been now. But yeah, so that's what I like. So I'm gonna pass it off to my boo, Golden Boo.
Golden Boo.
So, to a degree, ToonKritic took the things about what I was going to say about Big Mac, and this is a pet peeve that I want to get out of the way about Big Mac. It's become less and less of a problem lately, thanks to Brotherhood Social and such. I like it when Big Mac has more lines than just yup, nope all the time.
He talks a lot.
It's one of those quote-unquote silent characters they try to implicate, and it doesn't work, because he already had multiple lines in the first couple of episodes of the series. And I don't care if it was early on in the series that they decided to change their mind. So when they even played it up in season 4. Like when Big Mac was about to speak, Granny Smith covered his mouth. Like, no, I don't need you explaining your part. It's like, really? You give him a moment to shine, and they did more than that in Brother Social. And in this episode, now he's talking like almost all the time, and I'm fine with that. So having him just say, yep, nope, has grown very stale very quickly, and I'm glad that they're downplaying that and they're actually giving him more lines. Yes, it was an earlier time when he was younger, but it still proves my point that I like it when Big Mac is talking more.
Yeah. Can we get this Big Mac? Can we have this Big Mac for the rest of the show?
Yes, please.
I would love this Big Mac for the rest of the show. I would be totally fine, even with the Mohawk. I'd be fine with the Mohawk and Big Mac, and there'd just be a time displacement that puts past Big Mac in the present. I would love it. Be great. Can we have that forever?
No.
He's beautiful.
To be honest, I really do like Big Mac this way because when he does in fact speak, it's because there's a big reason behind it. So it's now he's at that point where if he needs to say something, it's for a really big deal. And that's what I like about him, because now he's kind of adapted to this character that actually speak louder than words. And when he does need to speak, it's when they have something really to say. And that's what I like about his character now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Everybody's going to be... Oh, God. Everybody's now thinking... somebody said, this Big Mac, I think of the burger.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's an original joke from season 1.
Yeah, I think that we've all done it at some point. We've all made the Big Mac burger joke.
Oh, everybody did, so...
All of us reviewers did it in, our first year of doing
hang on. Does that mean that him in this episode is Little Mac?
Get out.
I mean, I don't play him in Smash Brothers, but...
You know, from Smash Brothers, Punch-Out's better.
Ooh.
Oh.
I like the Wii version of Punch-Out. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a
fun.
good game. I'd still say that Smash Brothers is better.
Oh, I think Smash Bros is a better game overall, but I like playing Punch-Out more than I haven't played Smash 4 because I don't have 3DS or a Wii U, but I really like playing Punch-Out, so...
Alright, Fox, do you pass it back to Ninja?
Yeah, pass it back to Ninja.
Alright.
Does he have a choice? Well, okay,
I mean, we could just sit here.
Yeah. The one thing that I love about this episode, and I do love it, this hit very close to home to me, it was the moral. I thought this moral was fantastic. The thing is with Applejack's... Okay, this is going a little bit off tangent, but I'll circle back around to it. The thing is with Applejack's original flashback and how she got a cutie mark, the others kind of related more to their element, and Applejack's didn't seem very honest. The most you could connect Applejack's cutie mark backstory to honesty is that she was honest with herself in what she wanted to do. And I guess that's kind of there, but that's a very vague sort of understanding of honesty. This episode is where Applejack learns why honesty is important and why honesty is a great thing. And as I said, this moral hits very close to home to me. It's amazing. It's just amazing, and it needs to be spread around more. People make mistakes, and we do bad things. Heck, if we were all perfect, we wouldn't learn anything. And it seems that my generation, kind of the millennial age, is getting so entitled into being right and not admitting that they can be wrong sometimes. And this episode, I used to be a lot like Big Mac. I was all talk and no listen, and I got beat up for it. I got my shit kicked in. And
There went the PG
It was only
rating.
when... Oh, sorry, I apologize for my language.
Gosh, diddly darn, watch your frickle frackin' language.
Yes, I apologize. I used to get my butt kicked a lot, and it was only when I shut up and I started to listen to people and listen to where I was going wrong and improve on my mistakes. Then that's the only reason. That's the only way that I learn. It's the only way a lot of people learn. Yeah. And I don't see that a lot in other shows. I don't see people make mistakes and improve off them. Well, of course, everyone makes. That's a very basic thing from the show, but actually addressing that you need to learn from mistakes and it's okay to make mistakes sometimes. So yeah.
That's good. Well, then I have a question for everybody in here. I don't want to make y'all say what is the worst lie you've ever done, but what specific lie do you remember doing the most, or most common lie?
Lying about where I'm going.
Worst life.
Lie.
We've all told lies before. So.
I'm going to go with one that won't incriminate me or
Yeah.
be really bad. In the first grade, I think, I lied about being sick a lot. 'Cause I hated school that
people
much.
did that.
I hated school. Like, I loved learning, but I couldn't stand school. I was also like 6, so it wasn't that.
We're all going around to it for our
Yeah.
biggest lies.
Why not?
Yeah.
That'll
Well,
be
no,
a question. That's a
but how
question
about,
for the chat as well.
Yeah, one that doesn't incriminate you. Like, okay, I got one.
I banged
I know
5 girls in Las Vegas.
I think
Robin, you
I think
wish.
We're going for a school lie here, so okay. I remember a school lie I did in 1st grade. I used to lie about stealing paper from the cupboard and stuffing it into my desk because.
Ooh, so edgy.
I know. I used to steal paper from my art class, and I would lie about it. It's because we didn't have construction paper at home, and I like to cut out stuff that I drew out and glue it together and make my own toys. And construction paper was the best. It was the strongest. So I would steal it from my classroom.
Okay, that is like Blissy. Can you just stop being adorable for like 5 minutes?
Bliss is so innocent. Look at this innocent new cinnamon roll. She's never done a bad thing, has she? No, you haven't. Fuck.
Blissy's worst school lie was that.
No, it's 2 weeks, gentlemen. I'm going to be seeing you at Nightmare Nights. Just be ready.
Hashtag Night of Debauchery 2016.
Jeez. What, Fox, Keyframe Ninja, what about you three?
Who likes to go first?
You.
Okay. I'm sure that there was some time in my life that I did a lie that I regret ever doing, but I don't remember that. What I do remember is how a certain older brother used a lie towards me that hurt me. Twice.
Oh.
Yeah, the first time I was accused of knocking over my brother's fish tank when the whole time I was either outside spraying a squirt gun over like little insects or playing some little imagination thing, or I was in my room and I was playing around like cutting up paper to create they call it origami, so to speak, but I was just like using my imagination, and then I hear my brother having a tantrum and he comes into my room asking, "Did you knock over my fish tank?" I'm like, no, why would I kill your fish or knock over your fish tank? You better not have. And then comes my parents, and they are screaming at me, even though I didn't do anything. So, not only, ever since that day, like, during that day, ever since that moment, I couldn't come out of my room the rest of the day. And the next day, this story gets passed on to my teacher, my babysitter. I was put into a naughty corner because of that, and it's like, I was horribly accused. The second time, my brother was playing around with a thing of a candle, and he poured the wax into a sink. And we didn't really expect it to like harden itself up. We didn't know anything about wax at the time. He accused me of knocking over the pouring the wax into the sink. Ever since then, I had a spanking. So I got in trouble based on what my brother was lying about.
Why do your parents believe this more than you?
Anyway.
No, here's the problem. They were asking me like, "Where were you?" while we were in the computer room and such. Well, I was just outside doing this, or I was outside doing that. Are you sure you didn't just knock it over and such? Like, they were completely siding with him because he was with my parents.
Well, I'll be right back, guys. I got called to dinner, but y'all keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, see you later, Bliss. Then we're already at the end of the
Bye,
podcast
Bliss.
anyway. Key, what is the worst lie you've ever told?
I can't really remember a really bad one.
A funny one, then.
Yeah, a funny one. Oh, I have one from kindergarten.
Oh, boy.
There was this kid that bullied me all the time. I hated school simply. I loved learning, but I hated school relentlessly. But there was this one kid, let's just name him Christopher, because that was his real name. I don't give a shit about him.
Alrighty, then.
He was the meanest little stain on humanity. And
Wow.
like he would pull out my hair and he would dig my face in the dirt and all that nice stuff. So what I did is that I took the teacher's keys and I put it into his desk.
Oh, you got him in trouble. Ooh.
You connive.
And he's like, I didn't do it. And it's like, Chrissy, did you see him do it? And I just nodded my head. I was like, yeah. I felt so bad after it though, but not at the time. but after it, looking back on it, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But then I think back to the times where he would beat me up and I would come home bruised and the teacher wouldn't do shit. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, I don't feel bad anymore.
I did that during, like, the 6th grade, because piece of shit, I don't remember his name, sorry, piece of gosh diddly darning poop, I had broken my arm back in the 6th grade, and, like, it really sucked because I had this whole, like, arm cast. It went up all the way up to my elbow, and it sucked, and the guy just decided to torture me for the entire time, and he would, like, I was in a stall once, and he was throwing door stoppers at me, like the wooden ones, at my head. Like, he would throw them over the door to try and hit me in the face with a door stopper. So I decided to be evil, and I did the same thing, except I was even worse. I decided one day to just stay during break, because I had, like, a straight A student, and they didn't care if I was in the classroom or not. And I saw his binder was open.
Oh, boy.
And he had his notes sticking out.
Oh, boy.
I may have shredded them.
Yeah.
Oh, A&Y sent me my story.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay.
Can't recall any particular big lies I told. I mean, I did the usual stuff as a kid, like, no, I did not eat the sweets or whatever. But yeah, recently not really much, because for years now I have been kind of obsessed with the truth, because I don't believe in lies, because they always...
What happened? It paused itself.
They always come back to haunt you, either because, yeah, like in the episode, something really went against you, or you simply get the image as a liar. Nobody trusts you anymore. So yeah, I'm basically against lying on principle, and yeah, I also have been on a little bit like Fox on the receiving end of somebody who did spread a lot of lies, and ever since I have issues ever forgiving this person, even though he is still associated to a good friend of mine, so this is sometimes a bit tricky.
Yes, can we stop spamming in the chat, please?
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, I liked what somebody said. This podcast is anti-lies, pro-revenge.
Oh, yes, totally. Ninja, what is the worst lie you've ever told?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, so there's a bit of a story behind this one. I'm actually American. I've tricked you all.
That's a really good accent you've been doing this
Okay,
entire time.
No, my true lie, a few of you might know that I study games design at a college that I go to. And the interview process for that college, it was kind of like an open day thing where you'd go in, you'd answer a bunch of questions, and you'd go home.
Did you lie on the questionnaire?
Well, no, here's the thing. I failed my first open day, and I had to reappeal to try and get another chance in. And there was another guy there at the reappealing. It was just me and this other person. And he missed his first open day because he was on holiday, so he went through it the second time. So, the difference is that I knew what was going to happen, and he didn't. So, he came up to me as we were doing, like, that test paper, and it's like, oh, do I just have to do this, this, and this? And he said it completely wrong, like, and I just said, yep, that's exactly
Oh,
like,
come on.
Here's the thing.
You are evil.
Here's the thing. I've always wanted to do games design. It was either me or him. I can't be blamed for him not showing up to the first open day. I didn't technically tell him a lie. I just didn't tell him the complete truth.
The face that your avatar has with this story is...
yeah.
It's beautiful.
So, he didn't seem overly passionate about video games like I was, so I don't hold too much guilt over my head, but I do know that was the difference between me getting in and him not. So, I'm sorry, whoever you are out there, I don't even remember his name.
That's how bad it is, you don't even know his name.
It was a year ago, dude. It was just a person who I met for a few hours.
Think about revenge. I had a moment I was in my English class.
Robin, we might want to save this for the post show, all right?
Oh wait, there's a post show?
Yeah, usually, because we've been rambling on here, and I kind of got to end the podcast here, so...
Okay, before we end this, I actually want to, add something a little more, and I just want to make sure that I don't mean to villainize my brother. We do love each other, but there are some things that I have grudges on. Now, as far as me telling lies go, I was always in trouble for telling lies, but none of which were ever as crucial as what he did. So, just getting that out of the way, there are things that he did that I have trouble forgiving, but I don't mean to villainize him.
Just in case your brother comes and watches this particular podcast and then texts you like, dude, WTF, bro?
Oh no, he would get violent with me.
Yes, did you knock over my fish tank again?
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so, let's get to the rankings. Where do we rank this episode? In the top area or the bottom area?
Oh, now that Voice isn't here, no one is here to give us the spreadsheet.
Oh well.
He's normally on the ball.
We'll work on it when we get to the best and worst things. But do we put this in near do we like this episode? Did we not? Are we in the middle?
I love it. I really like this
I'm
episode.
indifferent towards it.
2 likes, 2 indifference. Keyframe doesn't like it.
I would put it in my top 5.
It's in my bottom 5.
I'm gonna be honest. Because it was my country, I decided to take the blame and actually watch the finale. Oh my god.
You're exiled from this podcast, henceforth British... No, it's fine, whatever. Just don't spoil it.
No, of course not. Of course not. But
if British Ninja leaves, I call a seat.
I'm sorry, I think A&Y is in front of you.
I'll stab A&Y.
I don't think you can reach him.
Anyway, thank you for watching.
Yep, join us next week when we talk about Top Bolt. We have not quite figured out the guest for that, but I'm letting people know after the Top Bolt podcast, we are going on a 2-week hiatus. And we're doing this because the week after Top Bolt will be Nightmare Nights, and the week after that will be Halloween weekend-ish, so we're going to take a break on that day. We will return on that in November-ish. I think that's about it. Alright, so thank you guys for coming out to this podcast. You are awesome. Key, if they've made it this far, what should they put down in the comments?
They should put, well, our question for the YouTube commenters is, what's the worst lie you've ever told? Or
I'm thinking the same thing.
Or the funniest lie. And...
Non-incriminating. Do not incriminate yourself.
Or if you want, we don't care. But, and if you made it this far, put...
Exotic butters.
Hashtag justice for Golden in the comments.
What?
Justice for Golden. You were unfairly punished for that fish tank.
Hashtag justice for the fish.
Justice for fish.
I will admit for one thing, and this wasn't based on a lie. My brother did have fish in his tank, and there were times I got carried away and wanted to feed the fish because I was fascinated with how they were fed and everything, and I got so carried away that I overfed them.
Murder!
Justice for Golden.
I didn't know.
Fish don't feel
anyway,
pain, so.
with that being said, thank you all for turning out for this. We will see you on the next episode. Stay awesome.